Here's what's in the news now.
Tonight, our Emily Longnecker shares the emotional moments as these soldiers say goodbye and get ready to deploy.
Well, these soldiers will spend the next month in Texas training before they head to the Middle East. Today was a chance for their families and the state to say thank you for their service before sending them off.
You are the best among us.
Words of thanks and encouragement for these soldiers as they head off to a part of the world that will include an area designated a combat zone. The danger they could face not lost on Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb as he stood before more than 600 soldiers and their families.
To protect and to defend us and our way of life. This is something very few do. Many are, in fact, would be scared to go when they learn the orders that you're in receipt of. They're happy it's you, not them.
But I'm confident that we're trained, proficiently, and we're ready to take on whatever mission is thrown at us.
Captain Theodore Jackson is leaving behind his wife and 3 children, the youngest 7.
I just tell them that I'll be gone for a long time and to go day by day. Just go to school, do your homework, things of that sort, and listen to your mom, and over time the days will pass.
The soldiers will be headquartered in Kuwait, working with other NATO and non-NATO countries from several locations in the Middle East to provide safety and security. The mission coming at a time as tensions throughout the region are on the rise, with Israel's war against Hamas continuing, along with their recent bombings in Lebanon.
On a calendar, I literally wrote, Thomas is leaving to save the world. And that's how I see it.
Stacey Allman's son Thomas will be part of the mission. It's not easy for her to know he's headed to a dangerous part of the world, but she supports the job she says he's wanted to do since he was a kid.
And that's the most important part, supporting him. That's all you can do. And I know he knows that.
These soldiers will spend the next year deployed, and coming up tonight at 6, we'll talk to some of the families about what that looks like for them staying behind. At Camp Atterbury, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
So these soldiers are going to be overseas for 9 months during the year-long deployment.
We certainly thank them for their service. The soldiers actually learned about their mission last year, and they have been preparing for it ever since.
A big sigh of relief for drivers on the northeast side tonight. That's because the I-69 northbound ramp that connects to 82nd Street has been closed for a long time. We're happy to report it finally now is back open.
And a handful of local businesses relying on that traffic are now hoping the reopening also bring back customers. Marina Silva talked with one restaurant owner today who took a blow to their business when this on-ramp closed down.
Well, Charleston Restaurant sits right here on 82nd Street, and they tell me they have seen a huge decline in business from both of those ramps being closed. The I-69 northbound ramp connecting to 82nd Street opened overnight going into Wednesday. It's been closed since July 2023, making it difficult for people going to local businesses on that part of 82nd Street. Derek Woods is the executive general manager at Charleston's restaurant. He says the traffic congestion and the fact that you couldn't get off the highway to get to Charleston's made business drop.
With traffic, individuals coming from downtown, they can't access 82nd Street, so they have to go up to 96th Street and loop around, and a lot of guests don't really want that inconvenience. And coming from the north side, it's extremely bad. It's a lot of traffic.
The next step in the project is opening the southbound ramp from I-69 to 82nd Street, and INDOT says that is expected in the next couple of months. Reporting in Indianapolis, Marina Silva, 13 News.
At least 30 days. That's how long IMPD and the city want to hold cars involved in illegal street takeovers and spinning events.
It's all part of a new proposal just introduced to the city's county council just last night. And this comes after several arrests over the weekend and attacks on IMPD officers earlier this month.
Tonight, our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick shares how this proposed ordinance wouldn't just seize someone's car, but also cost them a lot of cash.
IMPD and the city are looking to seize more cars involved in illegal street takeovers, and all those cars would end up here at the city's impound lot. Now the catch is, the longer a car sits here, the more the fees rack up for its owner.
Metro Police seized 4 cars over the weekend and arrested several people. Their goal? To make participating in these events extremely inconvenient and expensive.
taking that vehicle for them hopefully will make them see things differently and the things they're doing that are uncivilized in our community.
Leroy Robinson is one of the counselors sponsoring a proposal that would create harsher penalties for people involved in this illegal activity. That also applies to people attending street takeovers. First, they could face a fine up to $250. Second, drivers could have their cars impounded on the spot for at least 30 days or until the end of their court case. The impound isn't just inconvenient, it also comes with a price. We did the math. The tow fee in Indianapolis can be as expensive as $150. And every day your car is in the impound lot, that's $30. There are also fees for fuel, cleaning, and damage. So for 30 days, the bill would be at least $1,000 and likely much more. Plus, if owners aren't careful, their car could be auctioned off. Now, this new proposal only applies to Marion County, but State Senator Aaron Freeman is hoping to change that. He plans to reintroduce a bill to make stricter penalties statewide.
I think it's time we get serious about this, and I think it's time we send the message. You use a vehicle in this manner, you're not only going to go to prison, you're going to lose a lot of money and you're going to lose your vehicle.
Coming up at 6, hear how the city's proposal measures up to what other cities are doing when it comes to this same problem. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
So the city's proposed ordinance isn't in effect just yet. It does still need final approval from the council.
It could then land on the mayor's desk for a signature as early as next month.
So right now, a massive project is underway in the Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood. It's meant to improve drinking water for thousands of residents.
That's because many of the pipes that are underground there are decades old, and they're posing a huge health risk. Tonight, our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick gives us an up-close look at the project and also shows us how it's helping people there.
It's something we don't always think about because, well, it's underground, but many of the pipes that connect water to our homes are outdated and could contain lead. That's why Citizens Energy Group is replacing tens of thousands of them all across the city.
Outside Annette Hamater's home, there's a construction crew and several giant holes. An inconvenience to some, but to her,
I feel like it's a blessing.
That's because Citizens Energy is replacing customer-owned service lines for free, something that normally costs thousands of dollars. The line is an underground pipe that pulls in water from the main line to your home. Like many in Martindale-Brightwood, Annette's is old and made of lead, something she didn't know when she moved in 30 years ago.
You know, I didn't even know how the piping worked, but now I see how flexible it is and I understand.
Citizens Energy launched the multi-year project 2 years ago. See those gray patches? Those are the areas they are currently tackling, with Martindale-Brightwood being the largest. A project that wouldn't be possible without longtime resident Elizabeth Gore.
We fought and asked questions.
A fight that paid off, with 3,000 homes now getting an upgrade in her neighborhood.
When I turned into the street, my heart was just overflowed with the idea that something is being done and that our community is now getting what they deserve, some attention.
Now encouraging others to ask those same questions, knowing the impact it can have for generations to come.
Maybe you need to question, is that going on in my community?
In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
So at the end, Citizens Energy Group plans to help as many as 75,000 customers through this program. So if you're interested to see if your neighborhood or your home is included, we do have a story up right now. Just go to WTHR.com, and when you get there, click on Seen on 13.
The woman accused of killing 3 Fishers teenagers in a crash in South Carolina was just sentenced today for her crimes. Prosecutors say Melissa Ann Parker was under the influence and ran from police after hitting the girls in a stolen car. Family of the victims still feel justice was not served.
Raw emotion in a South Carolina courtroom.
This was not some perfect storm of accidental events. It was an act of evil, and it took their lives.
From the sole survivor of a wrong-way crash that killed 3 Fishers teens, Brianna Foster and twin sisters Elle and Belle Gaddis. At sentencing, family expressed their anger at the woman behind the wheel, Melissa Ann Parker. She pleaded guilty to multiple crimes, including deadly DUI.
I never thought people could be so cruel that someone could hit a car full of innocent people, and instead of checking them or helping on them, they would run away like a coward and ignore the cries for help.
It was 2021 when the Gaddis twins, Foster and Macy Waltz, went on a road trip to the beach in South Carolina as a send-off to summer. These are the final texts Andy Gaddis had with his girls, Elle reassuring him they were safe. Then the conversation cut off. On the interstate, police say 43-year-old Parker crashed into the teen's car head-on. The Hummer stolen, as seen on surveillance cameras. Parker under the influence, going 70 miles an hour. She ran off after the crash. Only Waltz survived impact.
I remember sobbing in the back of the ambulance because I didn't know where my friends were.
In court Monday, Parker got the max sentence, 25 years in prison and a $75,000 fine plus credit for time served.
I wish she was going to stay there longer, but at least I feel better knowing that at least for the next 21 years she won't be out there able to hurt anybody else.
I understand it's like the max sentence, but I don't believe it's enough time. I think she should die in prison.
Justice, they say, doesn't seem to have happened.
Dissatisfied is putting it mildly.
25 years won't bring back their girls. Living with their loss?
Truth is, the closest I ever feel to my girls is in that ditch. That's the reality of this life.
Painful and permanent.
Now in court, Parker told the judge she's tortured by her actions 3 years ago. She apologized for taking the family's joy and their children's lives. Tonight, a 21-year-old Indianapolis man is facing felony charges after police say he left the scene of a deadly hit and run.
Kason Jackson died after that crash on Michigan Road on Saturday night. Karen Campbell joining us live in studio after looking into this case and some others today.
And Karen, you know, police always say even if you're scared, stay at the crash scene.
Which is so important. So in this recent arrest, police tell us that it was the suspect's uncle who actually turned him in.
Okay.
Which makes it worse. So you face a felony charge, again, if you leave the scene of an accident that, you know, causes injury or death, instead of a lesser charge if someone would have remained at the scene. The family of Alexandra Leal, they are still hoping the person who hit and killed her turned themselves in. It's been nearly 1 week since that incident happened on South Lyndhurst Drive. And Metro Police tells us that their hearts are with the families who've lost loved ones.
Anything as far as a vehicle color, description, what you saw, where you saw it, all those things can help piece together an investigation and find people that are responsible for tragic incidents that we've seen.
IMPD needs the public's help finding a 2002 to 2006 silver Toyota Camry that they say struck Leal and left the scene. Now, according to Indy Pedestrian Safety Crisis, they've been tracking the number of incidents. Since January of this year, there have been 32 deaths involving either a pedestrian or a cyclist involved in hit and runs. And when we look at the last 30 days, that same organization has documented 82 incidents.
Wow.
Of people who have been hit and injured.
Yeah, and definitely if they're involved in a situation like this, stay at the scene.
Exactly.
Do your best not to be a distracted driver out there.
Yes.
And that's a key issue. All right, thanks so much, Karen.
Got an update for you tonight on that ongoing construction project of the Washington Street Bridge on the west side of Indy.
Workers will be back on site sometime next month, but Samantha Johnson shows us tonight how residents there are asking for more.
Since March, it's been road closed on Washington near Tibbs, and it'll be that way until next summer. Indy DPW sharing this new photo of the historic bridge, saying the project will take longer than expected to fix. So for now,
people cross it every day to get back and forth to their home or whatever, and it's heartbreaking. I mean, a lot of people don't want to go take that way to get here.
Billy Choate says he grew up here on the west side.
You got Joe's Auto Sales. They've been here for years, and these guys out here are losing business bad.
And he's right. No traffic means less customers, a model that is not sustainable for another year. So George Creer, who works at Joe's, helped create a petition last month asking the city to prioritize and accelerate the project.
This is the last resort, is the petition. I don't know if these work or not, but this is some way maybe to get somebody's attention saying, hey, we need some help here.
And Creer is not alone, with more than 1,400 people signing the petition so far.
This particular day there was 51, this one was 54, and it goes on and on, 127.
The city responded to the complaints in a statement saying in part, quote, Indy DPW recognizes that construction is disruptive, but ultimately our mission is to maintain safe infrastructure for all users.
And it's going to take forever until next year. You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
A lot of upset people in this neighborhood, and you can look at some of the signatures, these are angry people.
So as Creer monitors the progress of the petition,
I don't see it stopping.
He's just hoping to get some help from the city of Indianapolis.
It's a snowballing. It's great, great if it works.
On the west side, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
Today, we did request an in-person, on-camera interview with Indy DPW, and a spokesperson told us they were not available. You can read the full statement from the city right now online. We have it posted at WTHR.com.
All I ever wanted to be was a Muncie firefighter. I never wanted to be a firefighter anywhere else.
Captain Troy Delaney said he came out of hiding in late June to defend himself against allegations that he orchestrated a cheating scheme inside the Muncie Fire Department. State regulators claim the longtime fire captain pressured EMTs and firefighters to give him questions from their certification exams, and he then shared those questions with other Muncie EMTs and firefighters to help them cheat and pass their tests. Based on the state's investigation, 2 separate state boards revoked all of Delaney's professional certifications, essentially prohibiting Delaney from working as an EMT or firefighter in the state of Indiana. At this June hearing before an administrative law judge, Delaney acknowledged he did collect test questions from his EMT students.
Did you tell these students to report back to you after their exam with test questions?
I did, yes.
And he did admit to sending recruits this text telling the students they owed him the test questions.
Did you tell these students that they owed you?
Yes.
But Delaney also told the judge that cheating allegations were politically motivated and the state's investigation was biased. He said the dozens of questions he texted students before their exams came from this study book, not from the test questions he harvested from students. And several current and former employees told the judge Delaney has a strong work ethic and character.
Captain Delaney is the best at what he does.
He's very well prepared, go-getter kind of personality.
I have not seen an officer more dedicated to the advancement of our personnel.
The administrative law judge listened to all the testimony and now has released her findings. When it comes to Delaney's status as a firefighter, the administrative law judge reversed the state's previous order to revoke all 26 of his firefighter certifications. The judge said there was insufficient credible evidence presented that Delaney showed examinees questions and answers during the examination he proctored. And the judge said the state board that revoked those certifications overstepped its authority. As far as Delaney's EMT certifications, she found none of Delaney's actions constitutes fraud or material deception. But the judge determined even though Delaney may have had good intentions, his conduct was immoral because by asking for specific questions and answers to actual examination questions, Delaney crossed the line into conduct that is inconsistent with what is right and honest. That violation of state law is eligible for punishment, but the judge said the state's decision to revoke all his EMT certifications for 7 years, the harshest penalty allowed, exceeds the gravity of Delaney's actions. Instead, she modified the punishment to include revoking Delaney's instructor certificate for only 2 years, not 7. The rest of his EMT certificates would be suspended, not revoked, only through the end of 2024, and the fire captain would be placed on 5 years of probation. It means Delaney could soon get exactly what he wants, finally returning to work as both a firefighter and EMT. Muncie's fire chief tells 13 News that's something that is still yet to be decided.
I'm fighting to go back to it because I feel like there's more to do. I want to feel impactful in my community.
Delaney has been on paid leave for the past 16 months since the state launched its original investigation. Neither Delaney nor his attorney say they're ready to speak just yet on the decisions here by the administrative law judge. The decisions, the orders, and the recommendations, Scott, none of it is binding.
So what happens next?
Well, the next step is that the case is going to go back to the state boards that originally revoked Delaney's licenses to see if they're going to accept these recommendations or stick with their original punishments that they instituted. Both Delaney and the state have 15 days to appeal.
All right, we know you'll be following it for us. Bob Siegel with 13 Investigates.
It was a dream come true for a viewer. She scored Taylor Swift concert tickets for one of the November shows.
Yeah, she was so excited. So then you can only imagine the other extreme, the shock that she felt when she got an email that alerted her that those tickets, in fact, were then transferred out of her account, and that was done by a scammer. Allison Gormley this afternoon tells us what's the deal on how you can avoid this situation, because we do not want this to happen to you too.
Savannah Van Skyhawk was excited to see Taylor Swift in November. Then her 4 tickets vanished.
Took my tickets, transferred them elsewhere, and then I couldn't get back into my Ticketmaster account.
She bought them more than a year ago, one of the lucky ones paying face value.
We paid about $300 per ticket, and I've seen resale value of between like $4 or $5 grand per ticket. So we weren't gonna be able to afford another ticket if we didn't get these ones back.
Immediately, Van Skyhawk said she reached out to Ticketmaster multiple times for close to 3 weeks.
They would just tell me, like, we'd call you in 3 to 5 days. So I'd wait 3 to 5 days, and they wouldn't call me, so I'd try calling them again, and then again they'd say 3 to 5 days. It was just kind of a circle, like no one ever called me.
The mastermind behind the hoax also appeared to post her tickets on a resale site.
The same section, the same row, but it didn't list the seat number, but what are the odds, you know?
When we contacted Ticketmaster on her behalf, Van Skyhawk's account and tickets were restored the very same day.
They didn't explain how it happened. They just said, once I'm back into my account, to change the email and change the password.
Reddit users reported similar fraud issues, saying, "Just got my ticket stolen for Casey Musgraves in November." Another person posted, "Someone just stole $800 worth of Seahawks tickets from me. I am in disbelief." Some users reported positive resolutions, others did not. While Ticketmaster notified customers of a security incident over the summer, it's worth noting some of those Reddit threads date back 2 years. Ticketmaster told us in part that fans should be aware unauthorized ticket transfers are often a result of poor password management, like using the same password across multiple websites. Fans should use a strong, unique password for their Ticketmaster account as they would a bank account. Van Skyhawk is relieved her tickets are safe and sound, and she's excited to see sparks fly in a few weeks.
Now again, let this be your reminder that you should never share passwords across accounts, because while we're not positive how this happened, Savannah's pretty sure they were in her account deleting things as they were going. So they can start with your email and work outward if you have the same password for all of your accounts.
So have a different password.
Okay, I just want to just make this very clear. She called and called and called and called and got no response, nothing.
Yeah.
You called and then they were restored.
Yeah.
And the media called.
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting. Well, I'm so
Yeah.
glad you were able to do that for her. But it shows. I don't know. It shows a lot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
when I saw her note, my heart sank because I wasn't aware that can be an issue.
Yeah.
Good job.
Nicely
I'm
done,
proud
Allison
of you.
Gormley. Thank you.
She can go see Taylor.
Yes, enjoy. Good job.
You can catch Allison's What's the Deal segments on her streaming show on WTHR Plus. Just download the app now on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV.
Gearing up for the Circle City Classic. The tradition is here for this year. It's a big anniversary year, the 40th year of this event in our community.
Our Jalea Brooks tonight walks us through the history of this amazing weekend and the lasting impact on all the people here in Indianapolis.
Circle City Classic and tradition go hand in hand, and there's been plenty of it since its early years.
We've just been reminiscing this year.
Well, now, marching into 40 years of tradition, it's a walk down memory lane for IBE President Alice Watson.
We went into the archives and we pulled out some old pictures. We've got Jerry Rice, who was one of the first of course, in 1984 to participate with Mississippi Valley.
Yes, that Jerry Rice. A collegiate receiver for Mississippi Valley State at the time, bringing home the first Circle City Classic trophy against Grambling State University.
Just in old pictures and documents, Reverend Charles Williams, of course, was the founder. Seeing pictures of him with some of the celebrities, some of the bands.
The late Reverend Charles Williams patterned what is now one of Indy's biggest weekends after the Bayou Classic held in New Orleans. Indy added its own flavor.
The intent was to expose youth here in the Midwest to HBCU universities and also post-secondary opportunities.
It was one of only a handful of similar classics at the time, but a lot has changed since then.
There are now over 25 classics, and that doesn't even count the homecomings, and a lot of those classics mirror our footprint.
The location has changed too. The Hoosier Dome, hosted from 1984 to 2007. The stadium may have changed its name to the RCA Dome, but the crowds were constant.
It had a capacity of 56,000 plus, and we were one of the first to move into this facility, Lucas Oil Stadium, which is a capacity of 70,000. It actually filled the stadium with the first inaugural game for HBCUs.
These fans are filing in for the 2009 Classic.
And I think that's really special that we're still here, and that after 40 years, we're celebrating and continuing to celebrate in Lucas Oil Stadium.
And the whole city is playing host to plenty of events leading up to the game on Saturday. In Indianapolis, Julia Brooks, 13 News.
And you can catch the 40th annual Circle City Classic this weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium.
The whole event kicks off this Friday with the Circle City Classic Pep Rally taking over South Street. That's from 4 to 6 outside Lucas Oil Stadium. There's also a luncheon that day, even before that.
The President's Gala begins at 7 at the Indiana Roof Ballroom. Then on Saturday, it's the Circle City Classic Parade at 10 a.m. downtown.
North Carolina Central will face Norfolk State at Lucas Oil Stadium. That kickoff is at 3 o'clock. If you'd like to go, ticket information is ready and available for you right now at WTHR.com.
Celebration continues this afternoon for Richard Goodall, the singing janitor from Terre Haute. Won it all last night on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, he sure has pipes, and you're able to hear him right here on Channel 13 last night. He now is the AGT champion, winning $1 million. Jenny Runovich shows us this life-changing victory.
America has voted.
On AGT's season finale, we witnessed the drama of a dream come true. Cheers and tears for Indiana's own Richard Goodall, season 19 champion and winner of the $1 million prize. A day later, it's still sinking in.
It's surreal, and it encompasses everything that's been going on. It's just been absolutely amazing.
It has been quite a journey for this humble Hoosier whose cover of Journey launched it all.
Just a small town girl.
Goodall even got to sing with Journey on the finale.
That was just the cherry on top of the AGT cake for me. It was just absolutely wild.
All season long, the singing janitor from Terre Haute captivated the country, not only for his talent, but also his story, and every man with a gift.
You're just the person that's there, that's behind the scenes, that makes sure everything gets done that needs to be done behind the scenes. And then, all of a sudden, you realize that you have this talent that you could bless people in a different way.
Now he's found fame worldwide, thanking the fans, the judges, and fittingly the AGT folks backstage.
Just like me at the school, me being behind the scenes, they're the ones that make the magic happen. So, I connected with them just as much as I did the judges, if not more.
So what's next for Goodall? He and his new bride of 1 week, Angie, are eyeing a new house in Terre Haute, planning some time out of the spotlight, then evaluate offers, maybe a tour.
Figure out what life is going to look like after the show.
A show that made this Hoosier janitor a household name.
If you put yourself out of your comfort zone for just a minute, you'll see that, the risk is worth the reward. And look at me. Wow.
Jenny Runovich, 13 News.